Hi and welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic and a Sudoku edition. So this is the normal hard Sudoku from the New York Times. So let's have a look at it and see what we can see. As usual, I'll be pencil marking like this in 3x3 blocks where I identify that a number can only go in exactly two positions. So this 1s and 3s being an example. And as usual at the start of a Sudoku, all one can really do is sort of fly around and just try and spot things. And here's an example of why this pencil mark notation is quickly useful. I have this 4 and this 4, so there's going to be a 4 here, but because I recorded this 6 pair earlier, I know as soon as I put this 4 in, I'm also able to place the 6. So this pencil mark notation allows me to keep track of all of the information I'm sort of appreciating as I go through the puzzle. 3, 3, this must be a 3 here, look. It means there's a 3 pair in those two cells. Have a look quickly at column 6 here, just because it's got a 5 in, and I can see there are very few 5s in the grid. So there's a chance I might be able to find something interesting. See the 2, 6 and the 9, so I can't quite get another number from this fact, but that 5 is interesting there. Anyway, let's carry on. Pencil marking. You can see we can pencil mark 8s up here like this, which gives us this 8 down here. And now we should focus on these squares here to see if we can identify another pencil mark opportunity. You can see that we can immediately, we can place 2 9s in there, which allows us to pencil mark 9s into those 2 squares. Anything else? 7s, yes, we can do the same thing over here, look. And the only other number is a 2, which we can't identify, but this 7 and these pencil mark 7s give us another opportunity to pencil mark 7s there. Have a quick look at column 1 here. You can see we need 2, 5 and 7. Again, not a lot doing. In fact, are there any 2s in the grid at all? I don't think that there are. It's interesting in and of itself. Pencil mark 6s over this side. 9. Here's something interesting, and another very useful example of why pencil marks are important. We have a 9 here and a 9 here, so I know I can pencil mark 9s into these 2 squares. Now immediately my eyes are tracking down, and I'm noticing that we have 9s in these 2 positions as well, i.e. the identical positions, just a little bit lower in the grid. So now I know whichever way the 9s end up going, let me just show you what I mean. Let's say that this turns out to be the real 9 in this 3x3 block. If this is the real 9, then this will be the real 9 down here, because the 9 couldn't go in this square, and vice versa. So if this isn't the 9 in this square, this will have to be the 9, and this will have to be the 9. So either way round, you can immediately appreciate, I think, that there are going to be no more 9s in columns 7 and columns 9. So let's look at how that affects this 3x3 block up here. I know there are no 9s here or here, so the only place a 9 will be able to be placed in this top 3x3 block is in this square, in column 8. And that is going to be very useful. You can immediately see now placing this 9 here allows me to find this 9 here in this 3x3 block, and that allows me to unwind this pencil mark 8 that we made earlier, pencil mark 8s into these 2 squares. We now need a 2 and a 5 in these 2 squares here, but you can see we noted this 5 earlier as being one of the very few, in fact perhaps the only 5 in the grid, so now we can get our first 2 in the grid as well. Place this 5 into this square. We can pencil mark 2s down here. That's all from this little bit of logic involving the 9s. Okay, and then we can see, if we look at column 5 here and ask where we can place a 5 in column 5, you can see we can't place it here because of this 5, can't place it here because of this 5, so we know that there's a 5 in one of these two positions, and look, we have a 5 here. So in fact, this square here needs to be a 5, which, just to mention, I mean, that works beautifully in this particular pattern, but one way you could also have got to that, if you look at this 5 here, you can see it's forcing a 5 into either column 4 or column 6. This 5 is forcing the 5 in this block into column 4 or column 6. So instantly, even if you don't notice that there's a hidden single in this column, you could be using this sort of the same pattern we've used over here with the 9s in your brain to realize that their 5s are locked into one of these two cells down here in this 3x3 block, and that'll get you to the same answer. 6, 9, 9. There's a naked 9 there that we could have got earlier. 1, 2 and 3 to place along row 3, look. We can't place a 3 into this position, so the 3 is going to have to go over there. Probably only one little insight away from cracking this now. See, we can 4's down here. Look, we have a 4 here, 4 here, 4 here. So this has to be a 4, which means that in this 3x3 block, combining with this 4 here, we get a pair of 4's in this 3-4 position. So now that's very useful. We need to make use of that. Immediately I'm looking at the 8's now. 8's, 8's. So we can pencil mark 8's into these two positions, and that gives us an 8 into this square here. We can unwind the pencil marked 8's now that we had up here, so let's put the 8 into that cell. Now this must be an 8, it's the only place an 8 can go in this 3x3 block. We have an 8 here, an 8 here, so this now has to be an 8, which actually allows us to find the 8's. And as usual with this New York Times Sudoku software, once you complete all of the examples of a number in the grid, the font changes, which I find a bit disconcerting, but there we are. Okay, you can see we can pencil mark 2's here. In fact, we're looking for a 1 and a 2 still in column 5, and this one here resolves how this is going to go. We can't place a 1 here, so this is going to have to be the 2, which means this is a 2 and this is a 1. Our earlier pencil marks mean we can immediately just say that that's a 1 there. 2, 2, you can see we can pencil mark this 2, 3 pair. Still looking for 5's in row 2, so we can pencil mark those in, and we need to place a 7 somewhere in this block. Where can it go? Well, it can only now go here. 3 and 5 into these two positions again. We don't know which way round it's going to go, but we can certainly pencil mark it. And 1, 6, 7 down here. So this, we can pencil mark 6's there. Nothing, we can't do anything with 7's. We don't really know about 7's in this block here. Let's return to this one because we had 9's, we've done 4's, 8's, 3's and 6's. Can we do anything with 6's there, I'm wondering? Yes, we can. So again, it's the same principle that we've already covered twice in this one solve. If we look at how a 6 interacts on this block, we can't locate where a 6 is going to go. We just know it's not in one of these two positions. And the important thing we need to therefore appreciate, it is not in any of these three positions. It is not appearing in row 7. Now let's look at this block. Again, 6 is not appearing in row 7. So we know that the 6's in this block and this block. will take care of rows 8 and 9. We know there's 1 6 in row 8 and 1 6 in row 9, and we now know that they will appear in this block and this block. Therefore, there cannot be a 6 in this position. Now, I'm just going to prove that to you for those of you who aren't familiar with this sort of logic. If I did put the 6 here, what would happen? Well, you can see we'd have to place a 6 here because of the pencil mark. Now, where can we place a 6 in this block? And you can see there's nowhere left to place it. Can't be 6's anywhere along here. This is a 4-3 pair, so it can't be in these two positions, and this 6 prevents it from being in this position. So we know this is not a 6. Therefore, we place the 6 here. That's going to mean we need a 9 now in this column. Let's put that in. Move this 9. We need a 2-7 pair there. Can we use the 9? Not quite. That has to be a 1. Look, we have a 1 here, a 1 here, so this has to be a 1. That's therefore a 1. That's a 6. That's a 7. That's a 7, and that's a 2. Now we can pencil mark 7s down here. We need to place a 2 in this 3x3 block, and this 2 here forces it upwards into this square. What are we left with down here? 5 and 6, is it, I think? Well, that's 6, therefore we can place the 6 here and the 5 here. This 6 unwinds these two pencil marks, so 6 and 5. We now need a 5 into one of these two positions, and this 5 resolves where that can go. We use our pencil mark immediately with the 4, unwind this 4, and you can see that because of the pencil marks we're actually able to make very, very swift progress the moment we start to sort of reach this point of the puzzle. And we can, in fact, this is how the very best solvers can be done in 30 seconds from this sort of stage. It's because they've recorded all the information efficiently and they're simply able to unwind what they need to as swiftly as almost they can type. So this is going to be a 2, hopefully. It looks like that's working. You can see that the 2's haven't changed font yet. The 2 is going to complete the puzzle. So thanks for watching. I hope this was useful to your own solving, and if you enjoy the channel, please do subscribe. We really appreciate it, and do leave feedback too. If you have any puzzles you'd like us to attempt for you, then just leave us a message, and if we have time we'll certainly try and do that. Thanks again for watching.